these properties. It says that these properties are possessed by the Gandhi family and that this is an illegal appropriation of public wealth. ED also says that the Associated Journals Limited owns immovable properties worth 662 crores. AJL's or the Associated Journals immovable assets across Delhi, Mumbai and Lucknow. ED says Young Indians owns AJL equity shares worth over 90 crores, and taken together that number 752 crores. Now the properties attached by the ED are some of the nation's most iconic buildings, viewers. And I will show you some of those. A glance at those buildings will tell you that they are indeed extremely valuable because they are landmarks in their own right. The Nehru Bhavan in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, National Herald House, the ITO, and the AJL House, which is the Associated Journal House in Mumbai. All of them have been now appropriated. And viewers, these buildings were bought after AJL was formed, and as you know, the AJL, viewers, used to be the publisher of the National Herald. We'll come to all of that. But all of these properties now are sealed. They are in the custody of the Enforcement Directorate as denoted proceeds of crime. The Enforcement Directorate says that the Gandhis conspired with their closest acolytes to enrich themselves. That in 2010, the Gandhis floated a company called Young Indian. The Gandhis, that are Sonia and Rahul, ensured that they held a 76% majority stake in the company. The Enforcement Directorate points out that Young Indian was set up with a capital of just a few lakh rupees. In a matter of months, the ED claims Young Indian spent this pittance to acquire a company that had assets of at least 752 crores. The acquired company is a not-for-profit entity called Associated Journals Limited, set up pre-independence by the Nehru-led Congress party through public donations. This is a well-known fact, viewers. The purpose of this company was to publish the iconic National Herald newspaper. The ED has established that Associated Journals Limited was ripe for the taking. In 2008, it had shut shop, claiming it had no money to publish the newspaper. The Congress party, under the presidentship of Sonia Gandhi, loaned rupees 90 crores to bail out Associated Journals Limited. But when the company defaulted on the loan, the Congress party wrote the rupees 90 crore debt off. But it didn't stop there. Instead of diluting AJL's assets to recover the rupees 90 crore debt, of course, that is what most often happens, viewers. If a company goes bankrupt, you sell its assets so that you can pay its shareholders back or those who have loaned it money. But not in this case. Viewers, in this case, the Congress party decided to transfer the loan liability to Young Indians. Astoundingly, the Gandhi-led Young Indians paid a mere rupees 50 lakhs to the Congress for the share transfer. Simply put, the Gandhis netted equity in a company with assets of at least rupees 752 crores, conservatively speaking, by paying just 50 lakhs. But the Gandhis struck a deal so sweet that it left a bitter taste in the mouth. A private complaint led to a case. The CBI and the Income Tax Agency department looked at the details and they smelt a rat. The ED then swooped in. Essentially, the agencies found that the Gandhi-owned company Young Indians told Associated Journals Limited that they would arrange for a rupees 90 crore loan to bail it out. One of the directors of Young Indian, called Motilal Vora, who was also the treasurer, incidentally, of the Sonia Gandhi-led Congress, arranged for the party to cough up rupees 90 crores. In exchange for the loan, Vora told Associated Journals Limited that it would have to transfer all its shares in the name of Young Indian. The genius of the scheme lay in the fact that the chairman of Associated Journals Limited was also Motilal Vora. In other words, viewers, Vora not only supplied the rupees 90 crore loan, acting as Congress treasurer, but Vora, as director of Young India, was issuing orders to Vora himself, that is, as he was also chairman of Associated Journals Limited. So he was involved in all three entities. None of these facts are denied by the Congress. The Gandhis, in fact, insist that they weren't in on the details, and Vora, who is now incidentally dead, took all the decisions. Now, the crackdown by the Enforcement Directorate has led to a massive face-off. Watch some of the reactions, viewers.
2008 में 90 करोड़ रुपया लोन दिया था कांग्रेस पार्टी ने एसोसिएट जर्नल को, जो नेशनल हेरल्ड पब्लिश करता था। तो 90 करोड़ वापस लेना था। तो कहा गया कि 90 करोड़ हम तुमको माफ कर देंगे, तुम्हें कुछ काम करना पड़ेगा। का क्या करना है? का पूरा शेयर 99% फैमिली को ट्रांसफर करना है। का बताएं कैसे करेंगे? तो बस बिना बाकी शेयर होल्डर्स का कंसेंट दिए हुए एक यंग इंडिया बनता है पब्लिक। नाम क्या दिया? यंग इंडिया। और डायरेक्टर कौन? 36% राहुल गांधी, 36% सोनिया गांधी।
National Herald is an organization which has been fighting against the Britishers in the freedom movement. We all know that the RSS and its organizations were supporting the Britishers. Now the same RSS and its organizations led by Mr. Modi is taking away the National Herald properties through the illegal action of ED.
But the war of words cannot hide some obvious hard facts that the courts haven't really given the Gandhis any substantial relief. Viewers, let's look at the Delhi High Court first. In 2015, it said modus operandi adopted by petitioners evidences criminal intent. There is a clear case to summon petitioners as accused. The petitioners, of course, being the Gandhis, they had moved the Delhi High Court to quash this entire investigation. Questionable conduct of petitioners needs to be properly examined. Viewers, the Delhi High Court in 2018 was even more scathing. It said the AJL, Associated Journals Limited, the publisher of the National Herald, was asked to vacate Herald House in 2 weeks. Questionable takeover of AJL by Young Indian. Dominant purpose for lease to AJL practically lost. Allegations of malafide are preposterous. Fail to understand how ruling dispensation defamed Nehru. Viewers, all of this was put out. Then, of course, came the ITAT, the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. That also, viewers, passed strictures against, in fact, Young Indian, asking him to cough up in excess of 200 crores as tax owned. Yes, viewers, it's on your screens. Directorship details hidden in tax statement that the Gandhis did not even declare that they were the directors. Income tax proceedings against Young India for 249 crores. Young India moved the High Court seeking a stay on tax proceedings, viewers. All of this is being playing out. The High Court rejected the appeal, ordered Young Indian to pay 10 crores. And the matter, of course, is now in the Supreme Court also, viewers. And there also the Supreme Court has said that the Gandhis must face the full probe. The Congress, of course, dismisses these allegations. It dismisses pretty much everything that has been said. The party claims that no predicate offense is made out and the probe is driven purely by political vendetta. The courts will ultimately, of course, viewers, decide whether this cozy arrangement was illegal. But there's no doubt that the circularity of the scheme smacks of an unhealthy coterie culture that has bred opacity and cronyism. The rupees 90 crores used as a loan, a facilitator's fee of sorts, came from the Congress coffers collected from the public's donations to the Congress party. In a more morally informed system, the Associated Journal Limited's assets built on the edifice of public donations should have been sold to not just service the broke company's debts, but also distributed as dividend to its original non-Gandhi family shareholders. But that didn't happen, viewers. As I told you, when a company goes broke, its assets are sold. And the shareholders get, and the people who have loaned money, the creditors, they get the money back, or at least a substantial chunk of it. However, in this case, it all goes in a circular way back to the Gandhi family. Optically, the National Herald newspaper saga prompts the question: is what is the parties is also the parivars in the Congress system? That question, viewers, will be posed tonight to our panel, and that is a debate that is sponsored by Motorola. The big question on your screens. And right after that, viewers, let's open it up for an informed debate, a debate with individuals, at least a few of whom are stakeholders in this entire issue. The other larger question: is this fig leaf of timing that is being constantly pushed in our faces by the Congress party a credible defense? I want to first start with one individual who has been associated with this case from the very beginning. Remember, it was Dr. Subramanian Swamy who brought this matter, and it was not at that time, viewers, let me tell you, the NDA government in power. When this case was first brought on the back of a complaint filed by Dr. Subramanian Swamy, and he's been an anti-corruption crusader for long. It was a Congress that was in power, and the courts took this on board, and that's where the ball started rolling. And Ishkaran Bhandari assisted him in this case. Ishkaran Bhandari is here with us. First, Ishkaran Bhandari, just put this case into perspective. Why is it really a albatross, according to the BJP, around the Gandhi family's neck? Why do you think there is a problem here?
Rahul, there are two problems in this case for the Congress family. First, this case has gone through three courts: the trial court, the high court, the Supreme Court. The trial court issued the process. The high court, they went to get the process quashed. The high court did not give relief, and you have quoted some paragraphs here. And also the Supreme Court refused to grant them relief because they wanted this to be stayed and then to be quashed. That did not happen. So the highest court of the land felt they have something to answer on criminal charges which they have to answer, which is proceeding. That's the first part. The second aspect is this is all documentary. This is not oral evidence. Documents have been signed. The first allegation is that 90 crore was transferred from Congress to AJL. Firstly, even that has to be shown, because that could not have been given cash. That has to be bank entries. Have those bank entries been established? The income tax orders are not in their favor, but I'm not going into that right now. The second aspect is, if supposing, Rahul, you loan it, or any of your viewers loans money to somebody, what do? You either you send a legal notice to recover the money, or you go to case to file a money recovery suit, or you file a winding up petition against a company. Was any of these steps known to law resorted to recover money from AJL? None in this case were resorted. So what you do is, you have a kitchen cabinet, you decide that we will waive off this alleged loan of 90 crore rupees, but you do not waive it off. You do not get the ownership to Congress. Traditionally, if you have loaned money, then the assets or the shares come to you, Congress. Congress is a separate juristic person. Congress is not equivalent to Young India, because the Congress, allegedly or supposedly or as per the constitution, the presidents can change. It is not a permanent post. So the AJL share do not come to Congress. If they came to Congress, Congress president, and in this case it has changed, will have disposal of that. What they do is create a special purpose vehicle. What is that vehicle? Controlled effectively by Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. This vehicle then, for 50 lakh rupees, gets the right to recover the money, and as you have already said, Mr. Motilal Vora is no more. So he was the key person in all these organizations, and he decides to transfer it to Young India. And this same argument of it being a charitable company was raised in High Court. It went on for days. The High Court rejected it. The Supreme Court rejected it, because everybody understands who are the beneficiary owners. What is behind the corporate veil in criminal cases is a long established doctrine. So short of it is, it's a documentary case, and also the income tax order has Dotex, one company gave 1 crore. So even the 50 lakhs paid by Young India, that is also under scanner. Forget the amounts. So this, in a sense, is a documentary thing. The only problem I see is for ED to answer what it took them 8 years. This is all documented 8 years ago. So the timing issue will obviously arise, because for 8 years, knowing all these facts, the ED did not act.
Now, let me bring in Tehseen Poonawala and also Dr. Ranganathan and Alok. Also, the BJP's national spokesperson is with us, Ajay Alok. Now, Mr. Poonawalla, you have been a very, very robust defender of your family's basic claim. And you have come out with some very, very, very irrefutable arguments. But there is one which I have found you struggling to answer. And I want to pose that as a question. I want to ask you, was the AJL formed by donations by freedom fighters to launch an important newspaper that was going to carry nationalistic sentiments and be critical of the British Raj? If it is the case, yes, then how is it that the monies that should have been accrued to these freedom fighters ended up with the Gandhi family? If a company is failing and the company has some assets, those assets should have been diluted, and the worth of those assets, the monies recovered from those assets could have gone to pay off the creditor, but also the freedom fighters by the way of dividends. So I want to ask you, how is it that the terms were changed to benefit the Gandhis?
Wasn't changed to benefit the Gandhis. The Gandhis don't own a paisa. Why is a Section 25 not-for-profit company? And it's a very good question you pose, except for one fundamental mistake. But please allow me to also pinpoint on Ishkaran's two errors that Ishkaran makes.
Now, you're not answering my question. Now you're going
I will.
Ishkaran.
I'm answering yours first and then Ishkaran. So please allow me, don't block me. Number one, the Gandhis cannot. Yes. Young India does not own a single asset of AJL, not a single asset. It's a not-for-profit company. So hypothetically, even if something has to be sold, nothing is sold, nothing has been liquidated. But hypothetically, even if something tomorrow is sold or liquidated, as you said, the assets are minimum worth 700 crores conservatively, that money cannot go to the Gandhis. That can only go to AJL, period, and therefore by the shareholders, etc. It cannot go to the Gandhis. So the legitimate question therefore arises is, then why would the Gandhis convert this to shares? So conversion of debt to equity is a normal process which a political party cannot own equity shares. Hence, it was converted to Young India, a not-for-profit company. Now, third question that Ishkaran made. This is a fundamental mistake Ishkaran made. Ishkaran said Congress party. Sure, Ishkaran, you must. Ishkaran now says 90 crores was lent by the Congress party to AJL. Absolutely right. Between 2002 to 2011 in 100 installments, 90 crores was lent to, in 100 installments, 90 crores was lent to AJL. However, out of this 90 crores, 67 crores was used to pay off your colleagues, Rahul, in the media with their VRS, and the remaining was used to pay government taxes. This was not just duly disclosed in the Congress books. This is where Ishkaran was of accounts. On the letter dated 6/11/2012 written to Subramaniam Swamiji, Ishkaran's then boss, the Election Commission says very categorically, and I quote from the letter, not only has this been declared, it is the right of a political party to lend. The political party can't have shares. So this has been clarified, upheld by the courts as well. What the income tax is looking at is it's saying, okay, the 60 crores is an income for the Gandhis. That is what's being challenged, not this particular fact. Now for your last part of the issue. Rahul, I may not like you, for example, and I may want to hit you. Fair. But that's not a crime unless the act is already committed. You cannot prosecute somebody for saying, oh, they could have sold the assets. Are the assets sold? No, the assets are not sold. The assets remain where they are. In fact, Rahul, some of these assets which you valued at 700 crores are government assets. These are government things. How can you sell it? So in any case, it cannot be sold. Any asset sold will be the sole property of AJL. That's in the objective of YI. So when YI can't own a property, it's sold nothing. This is nothing but prosecution.
Nothing but prosecution. Two people have raised their hands to respond. First, Ishkaran Bhandari, since he took your name, and then Dr. Ranganathan, and then I want to bring in Ajay Alok to get into the political dimension of this. Yes. Yeah.
Tehseen can try to make a jalebi, but he will not succeed because of the simple point. Every criminal trial is about lifting of corporate veil. Who owns the share? Otherwise, anybody with a company can never be prosecuted for breach of trust, for cheating, for forgery, none of these offenses. And daily, every court in this country convicts the directors of a company. That is the basic law of this land. Second aspect, when you control the shares, you control the company. That is the corporate law since time immemorial. It might not fit your definition because the Gandhis own it, but the directors, they have the use of assets. The third aspect, all these properties are also put out on rent. What was the rent to loan equation? Has that been given? They are prime properties in prime area fetching prime loans. The fourth aspect of it is Young India. Why did you need to have a Young India controlled by Miss Sonia Gandhi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi? And lastly, charitable company argument has been rejected by the High Court. They wanted that argument to quash the summons. The High Court rejected it. You have read some paragraphs of the judgment. That has been rejected by High Court as well as Supreme Court. You can go to people who do not understand the law, try to confuse the issue, but the highest court of the land rejected this.
Okay, let's open this up.
Can I please answer him quickly? Can I please answer him quickly on those 2 points?
Yeah, just 10 seconds, please.
30 seconds, please. Why a new company was formed, a special purpose vehicle, SPV? Because the equity shares cannot be held by a political party. That's one of the rules of the thing. Point number 2 that Ishkaran says, Ishkaran doesn't answer one question. Where is the criminality? The assets lie as they are. They are not sold. He says, oh, there's commercial activity taking place. Now, please understand, Rahul. Commercial activity, as long as it's within the objectives of the company, and the objectives of the company was to spread the message that it's spread, and the newspapers coming out today cannot be objected to. So may I just simplify it? I'll take 30 seconds more and I'll end.
No. Okay, now hang on. Now we are getting into the minutiae.
Please allow me to simplify it and I'll end it. I won't take more time. Let's assume, Rahul, Ishkan, I'll just take 30 seconds. Let's assume, Rahul, a land is given to start a news channel. That news channel starts its functioning. However, the news channel outsources its canteen to, say, Haldiram's. That is a commercial activity, but as long as the objective of the news channel is being met and the directors of the news channel are not taking
do you know, sir, do you know that the newspaper had stopped?
And it restarted.
No, 1 second. Had stopped. Restarted. And no, 1 second. It was restarted after the courts and the agencies began to look in under the bonnet and lift the corporate veil. So, it was an afterthought. Okay, now, gentlemen.
It was discussed.
Okay. Tehseen Punana. Okay, relax.
All these meetings happen at 15 GRD.
Right. 1 second. Let me just bring in Dr. Ranganathan. So, Dr. Ranganathan, what bothers many is also the presumption that what is the party's is also, or what is the public's, is also the Parivar's. Now, you saw how Tehseen Poonawalla skirted the question I asked. Simple. If you were actually so invested in reviving this and safeguarding the interests of the stakeholders, sell the assets and give it back to the stakeholders, the original stakeholders. It didn't happen. Dr. Ranganathan.
Good evening, Rahul. Look, the bold appear brave till they are bought, and the crooks appear convincing till they are caught. The noose, Rahul, is well and truly tightening around the Gandhis. National Herald scam is as open and shut as it gets. It is the Kohinoor in the Congress crown of scams. In the latest version of Microsoft Word, if you right-click on the word Congress, the first synonym that crops up is scam. So the question is not that the Congress is corrupt or indulging in scams. Of course it is. The scam glut is such that even Congress leaders get confused which Congress leader perpetrated which scam. Was Raja in National Herald? Was Kalmadi in Colgate? Was Natwar in Commonwealth? Was Chidambaram in 2G? The cup runneth over. No. The question is, when will the guilty be punished? And that is why I'm afraid the Congress is going to brazen this out. They know nothing is going to happen to them, and worse comes to worse. Rahul Gandhi will join the BJP. In any case, he's working for the BJP. Rahul, the incontrovertible fact is that in this country, you can fool all of the people all of the time. Now, it is important that I break down this scam in easy, digestible bits for your viewers because it's taken me time to digest it as well. So here is the summary. Just give me a couple of minutes. In 2008, National Herald newspaper that was launched by Jawaharlal Nehru in 1938 accumulated a debt of 90 crores because, quite frankly, no reader likes paying for fake news and propaganda. Congress offered 90 crore interest-free loan in quanta to Associated Journals Limited running National Herald, but the attempt to bring back the newspaper failed. So in 2010, Young India Limited was set up, in which Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi held a majority share of 76%. Now remember, the Congress that had originally lent money to Associated Journals Limited now assigned the debt to Young India Limited, which meant that Associated Journals Limited had to pay back 90 crores to Young India Limited. But because Associated Journals Limited was not in a position to repay the loan, the company transfers its shareholding to Gandhi-owned Young India Limited, for which they received only rupees 50 lakhs. So AJ Limited had real estate properties worth 2,000 crores, not only according to the then law minister, but also according to the trial court that has been quoted by the High Court. ED has acted now AJ is in possession of proceeds of crime through immovable properties worth 661.69 crores. And Young India is in possession of proceeds of crime to the tune of 90 crores in the form of investment in the shares of AJL. Let me explain this by way of analogy. Just 30 seconds. You, Rahul, though of another surname, Lord be praised, run into debt. Tehseen, my brother, comes forward and because he likes you, because he is filthy rich, lends you 90 crores. But unfortunately, the sum is not enough for you to tide over your debt. Tehseen tells you to forget about the 90 crores and asks you to sell to him your media house. You agree? Tehseen buys you out for 50 lakhs. The small print is that your media house, even though it was bankrupt, owns Latian's property worth 2,000 crores. So I repeat, the Gandhis allegedly pays 50 lakhs to buy a property worth 2,000 crores. Not only this, AJ Limited even took a loan to buy property in Panchkula by giving Herald House as collateral. How can it do this legally? Now I have 4 simple questions for my brother Tehseen. Just 4. Number 1, what is the shareholding of Rahul and Sonia Gandhi in Young Indian? 2, does Young Indian now own Associated Journals? 3, what is the total worth of properties owed by Associated Journals Limited? 4, who gave 50 lakhs to Young Indian so it could buy Associated Journals? 5, what was the need to have Herald House as collateral if you say no crime was committed? Just 4 questions, Tehseen. Please answer. Thank you.
Well,
May I please answer them? And,
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Keep them, remember them, internalize them. I'll come. We're not running away. I want to bring in Ajay Alok. 1 second, boss. Relax. I want to bring in Ajay Alok. Just 30 seconds, please. Ajay Alok. Look, I find this strange that all this time, and Lokesh Jindal is also there. He's also sharpening his knife. So please, your answer has to be really sharp tonight to cut his sharp knife. So I have to ask you, Ajay Alok, this simple question. एक और election आया और ED इस केस पे गरम हो गया. All this while, the ED questioned the Gandhis 3 years ago at the height of COVID. In fact, Sonia Gandhi had to delay her appearance because she had COVID. उसके बाद ठंडे पड़े. अब ये क्या चक्कर है? Why is it taken 2.5 years conservatively to attach these properties?
First of all, Rahul, you must remember that ED cannot attach the property until and unless it gets the clearance from the court. The court gave the clearance. Now are you presuming that court is also looking election as a tool, that since elections is coming, so I am going to give permission now? It was absolutely decision based on the court and on the merit that the ED got the permission yesterday and the properties were attached. Now, after hearing so much of synopsis, first from you, then from Tehseen, then from Anand, one thing is very clear to your viewers, that's what's happening. It's simple a matter of greed. I'll tell you, this is a hypothalamic disorder in brain where you just keep on overeating, you don't get satisfied. So this hypothalamic disorders of Gandhi's of eating money is not stopping. This is the problem. And this they have been doing for the last 70 years, but still the hunger doesn't die. That is the problem. And sense of propriety, that how can I be questioned? How can Gandhi be questioned? How can ED come to Gandhi? This feeling is so much inherent. And in their ecosystem, like people like Tehseen and all, they will just start blowing whistles for no reasons. ED is a national institution carrying out its duty. It was formed by Jawaharlal Nehru after the Jeep scandal, and it was only meant for checking of the money laundering and everything. Now in this case, we are having links with Hawala operators, we are having links with income tax evasions, we are having link where is the fund generated 50 lakhs, they are not able to answer that where Young India got that 50 lakhs which they paid. There are so many questions, legalities attached to it. Why linked it with political rivalry and everything? This case has been going on, and you understand the judicial process of this country takes so long. Lalu Yadav was accused in 1995 and he was convicted in 2012. These are the kind of the judicial reforms we want to do, what Mr. Amit Shah, Home Minister, recently came up with, that justice delayed is justice denied. I sincerely feel that this case should have been long back, should have taken a course almost 5-6 years back, but then our judicial process is such that it takes time, and that's what it's doing. And yesterday after court's order, the ED attached the properties.
Okay.
Now the problem is they have to come clean. The onus lies on them. They are not coming clean on it. They are rather using this as a tool that it's a political witch hunting and all this crap, which is not going to come true because it's technical things. Like what Ishikaran said that everything is documented, and everything is documented fact, and in court of law documented facts do matter, and based on that evidence they will be booked and they will be sentenced in the days to come. Then they will again shout, it's a rivalry. Who had asked you? Why can't you hunger die? Stop for having more and more and more and more asset and more money. But you will eat money or what? This is ridiculous, actually.
Okay.
What's
So,
the legal point?
so 1 second. Lokesh Jindal, let me, 1 second. We are first looking at the political point. The legal point you can answer because Dr. Ranganathan has posed 4 questions. Ishkaran Bhandari has also posed 1. I had posed 1 which you didn't answer, which thank goodness Dr. Ranganathan has reiterated. So let me just quickly bring in Mr. Lokesh Jindal, who represents also the Congress point of view. Now the BJP spokesperson, the question of timing has been resolved by him by asking a simple question of you. Are the courts also timing their orders to elections, Mr. Jindal? And by claiming so, are you today in contempt of court?
Rahul, first of all, can my dear friend tell me what is the paid up capital of Associated Journal Limited? It is 91.31 crore. And the 90 crore that Indian National Congress lent it to AJL was an unsecured loan. It was not a secured loan. What happened was, Young Indian, it took over the entire debt from AJL. The question that was raised, that this entire transaction was undervalued. The debt that was taken over by Young Indian was undervalued.
So
now, I want to
I
ask
asked you a very straight question. Don't get into the technicalities right now. You answer the most basic question. The layman wants to know the answer to this. I asked that question directly of Ajay Alok. I said, look, the Congress is constantly emphasizing this point कि आप ठंडे बैठ जाते हैं. Both Gandhis were, as you know, quizzed by the ED 2 years ago. Nothing happened. Now another round of elections has come. And because you are upset by what Rahul Gandhi has been saying and you're losing the elections, as Mr. Kharge has said, you have gone after the Gandhis by attaching these properties. If they don't belong to them, I don't understand how the Gandhis are being singled out here. I don't know why they are being affected. But anyhow, still, that's one strange contradiction there. But nonetheless, let me ask you, Lokesh Jindal, do the courts which passed this order yesterday, empowering the ED to do what it did, are they also setting their clock by the election cycle? It's a straightforward question.
Well, the courts, they will respond to whatever the ED files and they will do their job. But look at the selectivity of the Enforcement Directorate. Now in 2021, when Central Electronics Limited, which was supplying defense material, was handed over to Nandal Finance. Now Central Electronics Limited, which had a net worth of 1600 crores, was handed over at 210 crores. The matter has been put forth before Delhi High Court. But is ED interested in looking into this matter? No. Is the High Court interested in issuing orders for this? No. What is happening over here, Rahul, is whenever there are elections on the card and the BJP is facing defeat, whenever BJP is facing tough times to come up with some form of ideology or some form of a basis, it comes up with unearthing or manufacturing scams.
Okay. Now viewers, we are not getting the right answer here. Lokesh Jindal has again changed the goalpost and he's entitled to do that. That if the Congress wants to do it, they are entitled to do it. But I just want to very quickly draw your attention to the one complete order that has come, and that has come from the ITAT, which is the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. The tribunal's order dated November 15th, viewers. And remember, we are going back 4 years now in time. What did it do? It ratified the income tax. Excuse me, 1 second. It ratified the income tax order of cancelling the charitable activities exemption certificates. Reiterates the fact that both Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi controlled Young Indian, committed a series of misdemeanors by taking over the assets of AJL. That is what basically, viewers, is being said. After cancelling the tax exemption certificate, income tax therefore then went up and fined the Gandhis, young Indian controlled Gandhis, 249 crores or 250 crores. So Tehseen Poonawalla, the question then arises, and that's the first question that Dr. Ranganathan posed to you. Can you deny that young Indians is controlled, the shareholders, the majority shareholders are Gandhis, and that they were hiding behind a exemption that has been struck down by the ITAT to defraud the nation? It's a simple question, sir.
All right, it's a simple answer. Yes, this has been struck down, no doubt about it. That's an appellate tribunal order. That it's a wrong order. I absolutely think it's wrong. It's done terrible. It's a terrible order. And no, the Gandhis are not hiding behind it, because though the Gandhis or these people, including Suman Dubey, control young Indians, they cannot take a single paisa out of AJ Home, because it's a not-for-profit company. To further my point, giving Anand's example.
Okay, so tell me, where did the rental income? Where does all the income go? Where did it go?
And if I can
just rental income.
That's 10 seconds. Tehseen, just 10 seconds.
Sure, but Anand, what happens is every time I'm on the roll, Ajayji is not stopping.
Okay, one question from...
On the roll, it doesn't come across.
Okay, please, respond.
Because the viewers don't understand. The viewers, the perception for the viewers is we don't have answers.
Right.
Then we are giving you answers. So please allow me.
Okay.
That rental income goes into young Indians, which carries out their activities for National Herald, the paper that's coming out. However, no dividend or profit or income can go to the shareholders, that is Gandhis, or to Motilal Vora or to Suman Dubey. It simply cannot. It's a Section 25 not-for-profit company. Therefore, the order of the income tax is simply wrong. It is a wrong order. It's a terrible order in law. But let me go one more point further and take Anand's example with Rahul further.
Income tax is wrong. Court is wrong.
It's actually wrong.
ED is wrong.
Yes,
only
they are.
Gandhis
Yes. No.
Okay, one second. Let's go. Okay, so you've said that the order is wrong. Two people will respond to that. One, Dr. Ranganathan had a question, and then after that, on this defense that the court was egregiously wrong, Ishkaran Bhandari will come in. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Yes. You know, my philosophy is Occam's razor, Rahul. When you want to do dissection, you pin the person down. So let me not worry about 5 answers from my brother Tehseen.
Okay.
Let him just answer 2 simple questions. Number 1.
Okay.
Who gave 50 lakhs to Young Indian so it could buy Associated Journals? Who gave 50 lakhs? And number 2, when it is severely debt ridden, why on earth did AJ buy a property in Panchkula, giving Herald House as collateral? Please explain these 2 questions, bhai.
All right. Number 1. The company that you're alluding to, which the BJP keeps referring to as a shell company / Hawala company, is owned by the Goenkas. Number 1, that is a loan not just taken on paper. As Ishkaran said, it's not a cash transaction declared in the Congress book of accounts. Point number 2, and before I go third, one more point. The AGL and the Y objectives are same, absolutely similar. Taking this further, for the expansion of National Herald, a property was got in Panchkula. There is nothing wrong in that. That property cannot, neither the Panchkula property, neither. I'll explain.
No,
I'll
this is
explain to
weird.
you if you allow.
Would you
No,
not want?
It's not weird.
Okay.
It's not.
A broke company
AGL
that might have capital should be paying
It has
back
an
the
asset.
creditors, or should be going in expansionist mode and taking
Okay,
on
Rahul,
more risk and
okay,
also
Rahul,
pledging
it paid-
what is
Rahul, it
supposed to
paid
be
back the
collateral
creditors.
somewhere else.
No, it paid back the creditors via its conversion of loan to equity.
Right.
Now, after that, there was an expansion.
And who are the
program
creditors,
that-
viewers? Who are the
Congress
creditors?
Party. The Congress Party.
And
The
it goes
Congress Party.
in circles.
How does it go?
You don't even need to
How
sell,
does it go?
viewers. You don't need to sell
does
this.
it go?
Sub
Rahul, 1 second.
सब एक ecosystem में है. Okay, Ishkan Bhandari wants to respond to you on this point. Yes, Ishkan.
Rahul, as I started by saying, Diwali is over. Tehseen should make less jalebi because the viewer is way too intelligent to understand all this or to believe all this. What a tangled web we weave when we first practice to deceive squarely applies on them. Firstly, is factually wrong. That loan was taken by Young India, not by Congress, because the Young India paid to Congress.
Yes.
So the loan which came to Dotex was from there. Second aspect, why was somebody loaning to a charitable, not-for-profit startup? What was the reason behind that? That has also gone to the income tax order. Who will loan 1 crore to a charitable company which has no business? Either you give donation to them, or you waive it off, you are giving them a loan. Second aspect of it. The third aspect, we all understand how NGOs function. Your travel, your hotel, your booking, all that can be done for a director legally, validly. That would have been done or not done because the scam was caught in its exception only. The fourth aspect of it is that anybody who controls the shares of a company in effect controls that company. That is why we have the entire concept of corporate veil, which Tehseen understands fully well, but in this case it will lead to an unfortunate consequences, so he doesn't want to. And last point,
let me
even
1 second.
before the
Please
charitable
allow me to
certificate
reply.
was cancelled, just last point, even before the charitable certificate was cancelled, the High Court said even if it's a charitable company, the way you have done, you have to answer in the trial court because prima facie crime is established. That was before cancellation of certificate.
quick
Please
one.
allow me to answer.
Quick one. I'm running out of time.
Two quick points. The rest of it is unimportant.
Okay.
He says, why does a company give a non-profit company a loan and does not give it charity? Had it been charity, you would have said, oh, this is a bribe. They've taken a loan, we paid a loan. Now that come to a big argument. Second, Ishkaran's own language. Something could have happened or could not have happened. That does not constitute a crime. You are either pregnant or not pregnant. You could have been pregnant is not pregnancy.
Okay.
That is fantasy of being pregnant.
Okay, viewers,
So
look, the matter is now before the Supreme Court. That I must underline once again is giving no respite. Now, my central thought to you is, I don't know why we are rebuking the Gandhis. They have actually been able to, with 50 lakhs, get at least assets worth 750 crores. They should be celebrated in business schools. There should be a textbook study of how to take over companies through a hostile takeover without spilling even a drop of blood. I think that's where we need to be with this. Put that in the back of your heads. Process that. I'm coming back because, viewers, it's going now too far. It's going now too far. Owaisi Jr. is playing a dangerous game. We come back to that.
Hello, Moto.
Co-powered by
such a far-fetched idea. Fingers crossed, we are hoping that we will get that very good news that we all have been waiting for the last 11 days. Within the next few hours itself, probably by tomorrow morning or by tomorrow afternoon, we are expecting. In fact, the rescuers are also expecting that they will be able to successfully get all these people out who are stuck inside. At this point in time, the biggest update that we are bringing to our viewers is that the auger machine, which had started working late last night, has finally been able to dig through the debris, and almost 34 meters of debris has been dug through, which means that 6 pipes have already gone inside. The welding process for the 7th pipe is underway at this point in time, whereas if you talk about the entire length of the debris that is being predicted at this point in time by the rescuers is of 54 meters. So approximately 20 more meters needs to go through. The work is ongoing in full swing. I'll just try and show you in the visuals. You can see over here the work is absolutely going on in full swing. The welding process has already started. Within the next few hours, the 7th pipe will also be pushed in, which means that the length of the debris, the drilling length of the pipes would reach somewhere around the 40 meters mark. So yes, a lot of work is ongoing. The breakfast this morning has also been given to the workers. On the other hand, if you talk about the other plans, the border road organization has successfully been able to build the entire road to the vertical top from where the drilling process could start. But yes, that could still take a lot of time. But keep that aside, the biggest ray of hope, the light at the end of tunnel is certainly getting brighter. We are hoping to get that very good news very quickly, very soon. the workers inside who are working relentlessly to make sure that this rescue operation is completed at the earliest. They are also very, very optimistic. Certainly, a sense of happiness and a sense of positivity is something that can be sensed in the air over here, because remember the time when the auger machine broke down and the work was stopped, there was definitely a lot of gloom over here, and hence over the last 2 days the engineers over here have worked around the clock, made sure that the entire structuring inside the tunnel is done, and post that the drilling process also starts. It took almost 50 to 60 hours for them to actually prepare the entire ground, and post that this operation that has now started is going on in full swing. But still, fingers crossed, there still is no issue, but no issues that they have encountered at this point in time. But yes, the last 20 meters is something that is the most crucial. Out of this 20 meter, at least the last 10 meters is something that is the most crucial part of this operation, because remember, there could be heavy machineries that could come in the way of the pipes that are being drilled in. But yes, the analysis has been done, the electromagnetic analysis and the geophysics analysis of the debris has been done, and the rescuers are hopeful that they will be able to negate through those machines as well. So yes, the next few hours is going to be very, very crucial. Approximately till the 45-meter mark is where the rescuers expect that they could encounter problems. Once that 45-meter mark is crossed, then the road ahead is definitely going to be very, very easy for them. So yes, the next 10 meters that is going to be drilled through now, that is going to be the most crucial part of this entire operation, which means over the next 5 to 6 hours is the time when we are expecting that this entire drilling through the 10 meter of debris is going to get completed, and post that the remaining part of the debris is going to be an easy terrain, is what the rescuers expect at this point in time. Now, since it is becoming more and more optimistic for the people, for the rescuers, that these people would be taken out safely and at the earliest, and that is the reason why the administration has now put on standby at least 20 ambulances, and if required, if the situation of anyone who is inside the tunnel is not good, then 40 ambulances could also be brought in. The work for that has also started. At least 20 ambulances have been put on standby at this point in time. So at least the last 9 days, in fact out of the 11 days, the last 9 days was very troublesome. There was a lot of anger amongst the family members, because they did not feel that any sort of work was happening, because the work that was happening was not of the drilling but of structuring that was going on inside the tunnel, and that was something very, very scientific and technical, and definitely the kind of emotions that these people had, you can't blame them for not understanding that. But since the first visuals have come to the fore, a strong communication line has been established, these people are being allowed to speak to their family members who are stuck inside. The confidence has definitely increased, and as I told you, there is a sense of optimism now that within the next few hours all of them would be taken out safely, and we can expect that and that is what the family members also expect at this point in time. Their body language has definitely changed over the last 24 hours, I should say, and definitely the kind of progress that has been made at this point in time is something that should be cherished. But yes, fingers crossed, we are still hoping that the next 10 meters that needs to be drilled through, that can be done with all safety and at the earliest. Post that, the good news is not such a far-fetched idea.
Viewers, in a constitutional democracy, rules and laws apply equally to all, but it appears that there are some who think that they are above the law. AIMIM leader Akbaruddin Owaisi has been booked for openly threatening a police officer after he was asked to follow the model code of conduct during the election rally and conclude his speech well before time. But this is what he said, turning to the police officer, threatening him in a chilling manner. Listen in.
क्या गोलियां चाकुओं की बात सुन के समझे के कमजोर हो गया? अभी भी बहुत हिम्मत है, छेड़ो मत, बड़े आके ठहरे 5 मिनट अभी बोलूंगा 5 मिनट। कोई माय का लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ मुझे रोकने के लिए, सही है ना? चंद्रायन गुट्टा बता दो, इशारा कर दिया तो दौड़ना पड़ेगा। दौड़ाए? मैं आपसे यही कह रहा हूं, कैसी आते हमारे इत्तेहाद को कमजोर करने के लिए। होशियार रहो। ये चाहते हैं कि अकबरुद्दीन ओवैसी से मुकाबला करने वाला कोई नहीं है, तो ये लोग कैंडिडेट बनकर आ रहे हैं। आ जाओ, देख लेते तुम जीते या हम।
Viewers, a policeman is the officer of the state. To allege that the state wants to weaken the Muslim community, weaken Mr. Akbaruddin, and that Mr. Akbaruddin will actually, and all the people who are listening to him, will send a signal by acting within minutes, is an attack on the state, viewers. There's no other way of looking at this. Let me first bring in Dr. Ranganathan. How do you view this, Dr. Ranganathan? And then, of course, I'll bring in the MIM.
Quite simply, I view this as the normal course of events. Hyderabad, the Muslim population is now 30 to 31%. We are seeing this with alarming regularity. And the daring of this gentleman, who earlier actually said that just remove police for 15 minutes and we will show 100 crore Hindus their place. He is the same guy. So, and the issue here is not, the speeches of Akbaruddin Owaisi or some other Owaisi. The issue is A, the ineffectiveness of the state, and B, this perpetual playing of the victim card. Now, this gentleman makes this speech, and all around this coterie starts to say immediately, Dara hua Musalman, oh my God, Muslims are being persecuted. So, in Jammu, you have Dara hua Musalman shouting from the mosques rooftops, saying that Nupur should be beheaded. In Hubli, they're wanting the scalp of a guy who passed a WhatsApp forward. In Kerala, Darawa Musalmans are organizing Hamas lectures where tens of thousands of them are clapping and whistling at Hamas terrorists saying things. So all around us we see Darawa Musalmans, Rahul. What more do you want?
Mr. Farhan, this is, you're intimidating the Indian state. The police represents the Indian state. And then you suggest to people around you, when the state reminds you of your obligation to the law, that the state has it out for you. Are you trying to create the circumstances for a civil war, Mr. Farhan? Is that what it's come down to?
देखिए सर, मैंने आपके क्वेश्चंस को पूरी तरीके से समझ लिया है। अकबर साहब ने वहां पर, आपने देखा होगा, अभी आपने बयान को भी उनको चलाया है, तो उन्होंने क्या कहा? उन्होंने कहा कि अभी मेरे पास 5 मिनट्स हैं और आप अभी नीचे चलिए। और अकबर साहब ने इलेक्शन कमीशन से परमिशन लेकर के वहां रैली कर रहे थे। रैली कहां कर रहे थे? अपने लोगों के बीच में कर रहे थे। रैली पुलिस थाने में नहीं हो रही थी, रैली एसएसपी कार्यालय पे नहीं हो रही थी, रैली डीजीपी कार्यालय पे नहीं हो रही थी। तो दूसरी बात मैं कहना चाह रहा हूं कि इसको केवल एक इशू बनाया गया। मगर
फरहान साहब, कैसे इशू बन रहा है? आपने बहुत सिलेक्टिवली उनको कोट किया है। Yes,
पुलिस ऑफिसर को कह रहे हैं, पुलिस ऑफिसर को
दौड़ाएं। मैं किसी के मामले में इंटरप्ट नहीं किया, मैं खामोशी से सुन रहा था।
नहीं फरहान साहब, एक मिनट, फरहान साहब, एक मिनट। लेट्स लिसन टू द बाइट वंस अगेन। हम सब सुनते हैं, वील प्ले आउट द बाइट वंस अगेन। आप भी सुनिए सेकंड पार्ट में वो क्या कहते हैं, कि आप मुझे इजाजत दें तो मैं बताऊंगा इनको मैं क्या कर सकता हूं। लेट्स प्ले इट आउट।
क्या गोलियां चाकुओं की बात सुन के समझे के कमजोर हो गया? अभी भी बहुत हिम्मत है, छेड़ो मत। बड़े आके ठहरे, 5 मिनट अभी बोलूंगा 5 मिनट। कोई माय का लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ मुझे रोकने के लिए। सही है ना? चंद्रायन गुट्टा बता दो, इशारा कर दिया तो दौड़ना पड़ेगा। दौड़ाए? मैं आपसे यही कह रहा हूं, कैसी आते हमारे इत्तेहाद को कमजोर करने के लिए। होशियार रहो। ये चाहते हैं कि अकबरुद्दीन ओवैसी से मुकाबला करने वाला कोई नहीं है, तो ये लोग कैंडिडेट बनकर आ रहे हैं। आ जाओ, देख लेते हैं तुम जीते या हम।
सर, ये पहले तो आप मुझे ये बताइए, ये चाहते हैं, कौन चाहते हैं? द इंडियन स्टेट, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, ये कहते हैं इशारा कर दिए तो दौड़ाना पड़ेगा। हाँ, दौड़ाएं। तो आप दौड़ाएंगे क्या पुलिस को? इंडियन स्टेट को आप दौड़ाएंगे?
अब मैं सर अपनी बात कंटिन्यू करूं, अगर आपकी इजाजत
नहीं, आप जवाब दीजिए ना।
हाँ, मैं जवाब ही देने जा रहा हूं सर। आया हूं आपके चैनल पर तो जवाब देने।
बोलिए सर।
मौन व्रत रख के नहीं आया हूं सर। देखिए, उन्होंने कहा कोई माई का लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ है, कोई माई का लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ है जो उन्हें रोक सके। बिल्कुल सही कहा। 5 बार से कंटिन्यू विधायक हैं वो, चंद्रगुप्ता से। और मैं डंके की चोट पर कह रहा हूं ये बात कि सच में कि कोई माई का लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ जो छठी बार उनको विधानसभा में जाने से रोक सके। वहां पर कांग्रेस भी फाइट कर रही है।
आगे बोलिए, आगे बोलिए, एक पे मत अटकिए।
बीजेपी,
मैं आपसे पूछना चाह रहा हूं, ये चाहते हैं, कौन चाहते हैं?
दौड़ाने की बात कर रहे थे,
कांग्रेस और
दौड़ाने की
बीजेपी
बात कर रहे थे।
क्या उन्होंने पुलिस वालों पर नहीं कहा सर? यही तो मैं कहना चाह रहा हूं।
अच्छा,
विरोधी पार्टियां,
तो वहां पे बीजेपी वाले खड़े हुए थे क्या दौड़ाने के लिए? देखिए, अगर आप नहीं, अगर आपको कन्विक्शन है तो आप नहीं, आप डर क्यों रहे? आप भाग क्यों रहे हैं अपने? नहीं, व्हाई आर यू रनिंग अवे फ्रॉम व्हाट यू सेड? इतने बड़े आप आदमी हैं, आपको कोई माइका लाल, आपको कोई बजा नहीं सकता आपका, तो आप ओनरशिप लीजिए ना। बोलो हाँ जी मैंने बोला, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? अब आप डर के इवेट कर रहे हैं।
मैं कह तो रहा हूं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी और कांग्रेस वहां पर फाइट
ठीक है, लिसन व्यूअर्स, we don't need to put up with this. We don't need to put up with this absolute circus act. The point is this man should be jailed. I just hope that happens, that KCR, who is dependent on the AIMM, goes ahead and sets an example. I leave it at this. I leave it at this, viewers, because there's nothing more to be said. Dr. Ranganathan, I don't know. I don't know. No, 1 second, फरहान साहब, आप तो डर गए। आप तो कह रहे हैं माइका लाल नहीं है कोई, आपको तो दिख गया कोई माइका लाल, ऑब्वियसली। सवाल पूछा आपसे, आप डर गए।
Yes. Suddenly now for Mohammad Saab, I didn't interrupt you. Suddenly for Mohammad Saab, the police has suddenly become BJP. Congress and BJP leaders. So it is but natural that in the speech where Akbaruddin Owaisi said that just remove police for 15 minutes, we will take care of 100 crore Hindus. He meant 100 crore squirrels, not Hindus.
And let me tell you, viewers, the Oaisis have not even fielded a candidate against Mr. Raja. Not even fielded a candidate against Mr. Raja. And they talk about Michael Lal. Anyhow, I'll leave it at this, viewers. You heard him, and Farhan is changing the goalposts as usual. We leave it at that. The right stand comes up with Mr. Anand Narsiman.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsiman. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go straight across to the big story where we are all waiting with bated breath. And that perhaps is the most important story right now that we need to focus on. Because today is day 11 of the rescue operations that are underway at Uttarkashi, and in just a few hours we may expect some very, very good news. Rescue operations are continuing for over 200 hours, nearly 250 hours now, and rescuers have drilled more than 2/3 of this entire distance horizontally through the debris, and that is nearly 45 meters is what they've already drilled through. They've just got another 15 meters of drilling to go, and they're moving at it very, very fast, but they're doing it cautiously. They're making sure that they make no mistake right at the edge of it, where they could just perhaps be able to extract all those trapped workers. 41 workers waiting to be pulled out ever since a portion of the Silkyara tunnel in Uttarkashi collapsed on the 12th of November, trapping the workers inside. And for the first time since the rescue operations began, images of the trapped workers captured using an endoscopic flexi camera, and the camera was inserted through the pipeline. Now, the footage shows laborers in good conditions, more importantly in very positive spirit, They've not given up hope. There was no sign of despair. There was expectation. And I think that is perhaps what is the most important aspect. The food, water and other required supplies, they are also being reached through a 6-inch circumference pipe. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, he will arrive at Uttarkashi but is likely to visit the site not now, but he will also wait till success is achieved, and then perhaps he will go once and for all, because he does not want to disrupt the proceedings on ground and wants all focus and concentration only on those 15 meters, ladies and gentlemen. All other activities of drilling have stopped. That's the reality. This is the entire map that you can see. This is the horizontal drilling. This was the entrance. This is that section that is now being focused on. If you were to look at it, they are trapped 260 meters inside the tunnel, about 160 meters away from the mouth of the tunnel horizontally. So that's that gap of about 57 meters exactly. 45 meters has been drilled through. So they need to get up to about 57, 58 meters before they get up to the workers. That's what they're going to do. This is the whole plan. The debris is up to 60 meters, and of course it's the nearest approach to the workers. Horizontal drilling up to 45 meters done, only 15 meters to go. The other aspect, this Uttarkashi tunnel, Silkiara to Barkot, this is a total length of about 4.5 kilometers. 160 meters is at the entrance, 60 meter debris. 208 meters is that entire distance from 160 meters to about 208 meters. That's where they are trapped. This is the total length. Now, this is where the workers are actually trapped. This is from where the drilling is attempted, but this is the entire distance. Now, it's farther away from this nearest entrance is the Silkiara entrance, and that's why, not from Barkot, but from Silkiara, and that's where they are now going to come. 60 meter debris, 208 meters worker trapped, and 480 meters is incomplete. Nearly 2.5 kilometers from Barkot is the distance that is yet to be completed. Now, the trapped workers, for the first time, have received solid meals, all prepared under medical supervision to ensure not just easy digestion, but also to replenish the lost nutrients over the last 9 or 10 days. Now, these are the essentials that have been reached to the trapped workers so far. Apples, oranges, sweet lime, bananas. All of these can also pass through the chute, the 6-inch pipe, easily, and that's why it's been that's been used. Crucial medicines, also hydrants like electrol has also been sent. Antidepressants have been given to all of them because they've been trapped in there for 9 whole days before they were reached on day 10, and now day 11 continuous supplies being reached out to them. And then solid food also like khichdi, dalia, that's been sent via the 6-inch pipe. Oxygen has been sent, and also by the water pipeline, and of course constant bottles of water, and of course nutrients, proteins, chana, puffed rice, dry fruits, all of this has been sent. There are 40 ambulances which are on standby. 4 or 5 of them are at the site itself, and nearly 35 of them are on standby not so far away, just in case when they are extracted they need medical care and they need to be taken. The option of airlifting them to AIIMS in Uttarakhand is also there. In Rishikesh, that option also is there. Anshul joins us live. Anshul, waiting with bated breath. Is it going to happen tonight, midnight, or perhaps in the wee hours? What's the latest update?
So yes, I'll give you the latest updates. Finally, we are expecting with all confidence now that yes, the rescue operations is in its last leg. In fact, the last few meters are required to be drilled through at this point in time. In fact, just minutes ago, the team of NDRF, which was on standby for the last 11 days, has finally gone inside with oxygen cylinders, with stretchers, as well as equipments that they need to actually make sure that people are taken out at the earliest, because the plan of action that is going to be, firstly the pipe that is being inserted, once it gets through to the other end, then the cleaning process of that pipe will also happen, because remember, as the pipe has been pushed through the debris has also gotten inside the pipe, and hence the pipe would be needed to be cleaned, and post that a few members of the NDRF team along with the doctor will go inside the tunnel to the exact location where these workers are trapped. Then on the advice of the doctors as to who is the person who needs immediate medical emergency, that person would be taken out first. And how will they be taken out? In fact, what we have been told at this point in time, that mock drills have also happened in this entire matter. The stretchers are fitted with wheels, and the stretcher would then be connected to a rope that will be outside the tunnel. And as soon as the person will get on that, he will be harnessed on that, and he will be put pulled out straight away, which means it is going to take very little time for them to actually reach towards the other end of the tunnel. So this is the process that is going to take place. NDRF teams have already reached in. Ambulance, as you mentioned, are already on standby. In fact, the Uttakashi District Hospital is also fully prepared to make sure that as soon as these people get there, they are put under observation for at least 24 hours, and post that we can expect that they might be taken to someplace else. If someone needs more medical emergency, then that person, after some hours of observation, would be taken to AIIMS Rishikesh. That has also been prepared at this point in time. So yes, the entire plan of action is now on point. But yes, what sources are telling us that it could take somewhere around the midnight for the first person to come out of the tunnel in which they have been stuck in for now more than 270 hours.
So there are going to be flat trolleys that will be used on the pipes, and the workers will be one by one harnessed. But what you're saying is NDRF, along with a team of along with one doctor, if not two, have they actually gone into the pipe already or into the tunnel already, and are they waiting for that final process to be done? You said that then there'll be jets of water thrown, then the NDRF personnel go, and they are going to go across to the other side. They're going to hang there, wait for each of these workers to be pushed or brought out or drawn out, like you're saying, because you're saying that it's going to have a long rope, and then they're just going to be pulled out. So the one person is pulled out, then that trolley is pushed back in, and the second person pulled out. That's how they're going to do it, one after the other, one by one, 41 workers.
So yes, that is the entire plan. So there are at least 2 to 3 stretchers that have been taken inside, and these stretchers would initially be taken inside by the NDRF workers through the pipe. At this point in time, the last few stages of the drilling process through the auger machine is underway, because the last few meters that needs to be drilled through, that is also proving to be tricky, and hence the speed of the drilling process has been slowed down. Now, according to the experts over here, the American auger machine has the capacity to drill to push through at least 600 tons of weight, but at this point in time they are not using that machine to its full strength, because the last few meters are left, and they want to make sure that there is no mistake whatsoever that happens at such a crucial juncture, and hence we are awaiting for that official confirmation to happen. When will the breakthrough happen, and when will the pipe reach towards the other end? And as soon as the pipe will reach, then the pipe will be cleaned, because there will be debris inside the pipe. Once that pipe is cleaned, then the members of the NDRF and a doctor will go inside the tunnel, and as soon as they will go inside the tunnel, the person will be harnessed and will be put on that stretcher which has wheels, and that stretcher would be connected to a rope which will be outside, and as soon as they lie on that, they'll be pulled outside in a matter of seconds. So this is the plan of action that has been prepared by the NDRF to make sure that all these people are taken out at the earliest, because yes, that risk continues inside the tunnel as well, and the NDRF and the SDRF do not want that anyone should get injured in this entire process.
So yes, has all other surrounding activity, has that been stopped? That was what the announcement that was being made this afternoon, that the vertical drilling, sideways drilling, all of that has to stop. And is this the only function that's happening? The auger machine drilling through horizontally, Anshul? Is that the only work that's happening? And we're getting some live visuals that we're playing to the left of the screen, or to the right of your screens, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we are seeing them weld, and they're welding these 6-meter pipes together. It takes about an hour or two for the welding to even cool down. So it takes about 45 minutes to an hour for the welding process to be completed, and then it takes about an hour for the welding to cool down. Then it's attached to the auger machine, and then the drilling happens, and that's how these telescopic pipes have been put. Anshul, final question. So how many meters? What's the latest update? Is it 15 meters yet, or have they reached about 50 meters? We're just getting equally anxious about the good news.
So yes, there is a lot of anxiousness out here as well, and what sources have confirmed to us that more than 50 meters have already been drilled through. The last few meters are just left where the portion of the debris in is a slant manner, and hence the rescuers do not want to make any mistakes at this point in time that could actually disturb the debris and that could make more debris fall, and that is the reason why we are seeing that the speed has been slowed down and has been taken under control. So yes, then just the next few hours, probably the next few minutes, we can get this good news that finally that breakthrough has happened, where the pipe has gone towards the other end of the debris, and once that happens, the entire process has been planned and everything will work to perfection like a machine.
Thanks for that, Anshul. Great job done. You've been there for the last 10 days and there's been some phenomenal reporting that's happened from the Network 18 team, including Anshul, Priyanka, Satyendra and our other friends on ground as part of the News 18 network. We've tried to keep you ahead with the latest updates and, of course, the first visuals across this entire story. And let's hope we're all waiting for those happy faces of the workers as they come back to civilization after 9 to 10 days, 11 days actually, in isolation, huddled together in the middle of that tunnel amidst all darkness. But then kudos to the workers, the rescue workers and all of them, the army, the BRO and of course the doctors and the NDRF teams, along with the workers present on site who've been relentless and have not given up. We got to move on here on the right stand, but with the assurance that we will continue to track this story till the VRs here on the network, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ever since the abrogation of Article 370, and we're shifting focus from Uttarkashi just northward towards the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, there's been massive decline in terror activities in the UT. And the Jammu and Kashmir administration is also leaving no stone unturned to uproot the terror ecosystem too. So deeply have they been embedded over the last 4 or 5 decades that they have rooted themselves within the administrative system itself, ladies and gentlemen. And they're pushing this war against the terror ecosystem and its key stakeholders, trying to dismantle it altogether as in Naya Jammu and Kashmir. Now, these were elements who were surreptitiously inducted into the government machinery, the administrative machinery, by various political regimes at the behest of those entities who were inimical to Bharat and who were perhaps acting as proxies for the enemy sitting over in Pakistan. And the latest, there's been a crackdown against 4 more government officials for aiding, sheltering terrorists and terror activities. And in the last 3 years, the Union Territory Administration has invoked 311(2)(c) of the Constitution of India. So this article to sack more than 60 employees who were operating in shadows within the government and drawing salary from public exchequer. But they were actually helping Pakistani terror outfits. They were aiding, abetting this proxy war against Bharat, and they were furthering secessionist agenda on Bharatiya soil. Meanwhile, the National Conference and the PDP have questioned the crackdown, claiming that there's no existence or evidence again, and that the livelihood of common Kashmiris is being snatched in this entire garb of crackdown against a terror ecosystem or a proxy ecosystem. This Jammu and Kashmir administration, they began uprooting the park implants in 2021, and so far there have been 60 people or more than 60 people who've been sacked. Let's understand this. In 2021, there were 27 people who were sacked, 12 from the teaching profession, 5 government officials, 6 police department and 4 others. 2022, 17 were sacked, 5 from the teaching profession, 4 from government officials, 2 in the police department, 1 bank official and 5 others. 2023, 14 have been sacked so far between Jan to November, 5 teachers, university professors, education department, 3 medical officers, 3 government officials, 2 police in the police department and 1 social worker. So overall more than 60. Now who are these 4 who have been sacked by the Jammu and Kashmir administration? We'll tell you as we set up the big debate.
Hello, Moto.
So let's try and understand. So that's the ecosystem crackdown. Have park implants being uprooted. Dr. Nirmal Singh, former Deputy Chief Minister Jammu and Kashmir, will be joining us. We should have Advocate Nilafur Masood of the National Conference with us and Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. Namaste and Jai Hind. Gentlemen, thank you very, very much for joining us here on the right stand. 4 entities who have been sacked. We'll put out their details. All of them deeply embedded in the terror system. One of them had actually married his adopted daughter to the root cause of nearly 60% of these attacks. And he is operating out of Pakistan. Sajad Bhatt. Dr. Nirmal Singh, big crackdown this?
Yes. This is an all-out fight against terrorism. These were the people who have been recruited various institutions during 1990s and afterwards when there was no government, and if the governments were there, definitely the system was such that these people, they could find places in education institutions, other government departments, and you will be remembering that in the 1990s, even police have been infected by these terrorists, and ultimately army had been called to the forced police to surrender their arms. That was in the initial stages, and it's the same police which is fighting the terrorism right now. But these people, they were still in the various departments providing information to the anti-nationals, to the Pakistani elements. And after the abrogation of Article 370, after 5th August 2019, all-out fight has been started against terrorism. And our agencies, our CID, our other central agencies, they are trying to find out all these people, and they are being sacked under under law.
One is a lab bearer in the education department who had connections with Sajid Jatt. The other one is a doctor, Nisarul Hassan. A third is a cop who was involved in drug trafficking also, and for over a decade. And he was a constable, Abdul Majid Bhatt. And then Farooq Ahmed worked as a teacher. So they had spread themselves across these systems.
Yes, because for more than 2 decades, these people, they have been recruited, and they have been recruited under pressure, because there was a time when in Kashmir, no nationalists, even in the departments, they could work. So this was pressure in the universities. You find that in the university, various teachers have been appointed, violating all these norms. I tell you, when I was a speaker, one person, he approached me with the request that I must be regularized. And he was absconding. I don't know whether he was associated with terrorists or not. But he was, time and again, he was coming to me and asking that I must be regularized. When I asked him, where were you? During the and the system was supporting. All those people, his colleagues and other people, they supporting him. But so this was the system which was working at that time. So all these people, now they are being tracked down, and the action is being taken against them. And some of them, they were related to those separatists and the terrorists, which were sitting across, whether they were sitting across the border in Pakistan, or they were related to Hurriyat and all that. It was there. And now the government is asserting itself. They are being tracked down, and action is being taken against them.
Now, is this action haphazard? Is this action being done in haste? Or is it being done after proper deliberation and a proper investigation, Dr. Nirmal Singh? What's your understanding? PDP and National Conference are saying that ordinary Kashmiris, their lives are being snatched away from them.
I'll ask these people that you come up with the various facts. If they're trying to say that they are innocent, they must come forward. There are courts. Our Honorable High Court is there, or the lower courts are there. So still rule of law is there. They must come out. But the government is working after having comprehensive information, finding all the, you can say, facts, basic facts, and taking actions against them.
General Sanjay Kulkarni, was this an issue that there was help from within by these implants? And if the entire terror ecosystem has to come down, then this ecosystem has to be cracked down upon. The administrative system has to be cleaned up.
Definitely, Rahul. There's no denying the fact that this ecosystem, there has to be a tremendous amount of crackdown, because they were in all conditions. You just see after the abrogation of Article 370, as you rightly brought it, over 60 people. And they are not ordinary people. They're people with a lot of respect and repute. Doctors, you have senior police officers, you have constables, you have teachers. And at one point of time, there were 2,600 teachers enrolled who are not even secondary qualification they have. And imagine out of them 1,700 are those teaching primary school. What kind of infiltration, what kind of terror link? I think it is unfortunate that we have political parties coming out to say so, because the government will never ever use Article 311 for the purpose of doing away with the duties, primarily because the terror links have been established. Notwithstanding that, they can go back to the rule of law and fight for themselves. But the fact still remains, they were deeply involved. They were at all times, these penetrations, providing logistics, working as overground workers, providing information, working with them, and ensuring that these kind of things are happening in the state. And from very, very senior people, very respected people. Can you imagine doctors? Can you imagine police officers, teachers, the Jamaitis who were part of it? Even at one point of time, the political parties would want to say that the madrasas have closed, and those teachers from there are being enrolled into these schools over here and now being brought into a regular payrolls and being paid for with an ideology which is absolutely disruptive and just fermenting such a terrorist system and links with the ISI. I think it's time that the government crack down, and this crackdown must continue. The political parties can't just immediately jump into trying to protect. No, these kind of things. What does that show? That they're definitely hand in gloves with them. Why else would they do such a thing?
Well, I think we have Mr. Najmu Saqib of the PDP on the phone line. Mr. Saqib, namaste. I just want to understand. Salam Radar, Nisarul Hassan, Abdul Majid Bhatt and Farooq Ahmad Mir, all of them sacked because of their links with terror and being part of an ecosystem that was working against the interests of Bharat. Your thoughts here, sir?
Well, look, the first issue that we have continuously raised is that a bureaucrat cannot be a judge, jury and executioner. If these officials do not have any recourse to justice and are not allowed to, take remedial measures from the court, I think that is very arbitrary. And that is why we have time and again said that these decisions are purely vindictive and purely sort of punishing the people of Kashmir. We have seen time and again where youngsters were picked up, locked in jail for years altogether, and then court finally says that those guys were not criminals and they were not involved in any activity. So all we are saying is that if you have certain sort of concrete proofs, there is police, there is intelligence mechanism available, take that evidence, take it to the court, present a case there, give them a fair trial. I mean, it is tomorrow, Anand, let's say, God forbid, tomorrow someone in your company accuses you of having terror links. Would you not have recourse to justice? Would you not have recourse to law? Would you not have recourse to court? I mean, that is the very basis of the judicial system that we have
the provision, correct me if I am wrong, the provision under which they have been sacked, subclause C or the proviso clause 2, article 311 of the Constitution of India, in the interest of the security of the state, and they have done it based on proper investigation done and hard proof that has been got. If they wanted to sack them, and if they decided, no, I don't like this person, I want to sack him, they could have sacked them on the 6th of August 2019. That's not happened.
So that is our basic premise, Anand. Tomorrow, let's say a different government comes at center, and then they deploy these provisos against you. Would you not have recourse to justice?
Yeah.
I mean, is it so arbitrary in the country that we cannot then let's shut the shop for the judiciary once and for all. Let's get done with it. I mean, can a bureaucrat decide that the other bureaucrat working against him or does not
not working against him, working against the interest of the state.
That is the whole a bureaucrat does not get to decide that.
Let me ask Dr. Nirmal Singh to respond to you, Najmuji. Please stay with me. Yes, Dr. Nirmal Singh.
Whether these people they have approached the court, whether court has not accepted their plea. There are courts in Jammu and Kashmir, and after finding all these evidence against them, the government is proceeding against them. That's a fact. Don't generalize the things. That the government is working against the Kashmiris and all that. If these things they are happening here for the last 30 years, 2,000 people have been killed. Whether it was all, if there was no secessionism there, if the system was not, some of the people in the system were not helping them. Don't generalize the things. If you have specific you can say cases, you must approach the court. But they are only generalizing it. This is very unfortunate.
Najmu Saqib.
Anand, again, this is sweep. I respect Dr. Nilbar Singh. He is a very senior politician. He's been a former deputy chief minister. But in the heart of his heart, and he knows it, that these guys do not have any recourse to the courts. You know, the problem here is that a bureaucrat gets to decide that another bureaucrat works against the interests of the country. Let's say, God forbid, there is tomorrow another bureaucrat who does not like any bureaucrat. Then he sort of deploys these.
No, but you cannot invoke these
line.
provisions. You cannot invoke these provisions arbitrarily. No, unless there is proof against them, and this proof has to stand the test and scrutiny of law. Correct me if I am wrong, Ji. Yeah. Ji.
If he can cite any example, if he can cite any example,
I have numerous cases to cite where these provisions or the different provisions were invoked, and these guys went to court, and then court quashed the judge sort of decisions.
So let them go. So let them go to the court and get it quashed. But the point in this case.
No, the problem is that in this case they cannot go to the courts. That is the whole problem. Because the sort of
why can't they go to the courts? Why cannot go to the courts?
National security. Nirmal Singh ji, that is the whole
No, please. Don't mislead the people. Don't mislead the nation, please.
You cannot.
That's not the case.
Have the judicial recourse.
That's not the case. You are misleading the people.
You know, why we are actually let's close the shop of judiciary once and for all.
No. It's not closing the shop of judiciary. Let's try and understand this. Let's look at the charges. Farooq Ahmed Mir. The charges against Farooq Ahmed Mir is to the extent that he had multiple times PSA invoked against him, and all the time that Public Security Act was invoked against him, and Public Safety Act, and he was in jail. He was marked present by the system. Who marked him present then? So somebody backed him.
Anand, hear me out. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
1 minute. If I use the same yardstick or the benchmark, do you know all the proxy parties, those who are in close proximity with the government, Nirmal Singh ji is, in know of all the details, they all have the same cases lodged against them. Why is BJP allying with them? You know, their senior leaders have so many serious cases and accusations against them pending in the court.
In that case, anybody and everybody could have been saying it's not. It's 60 people. It's 60 people out of nearly 4.5 lakh, if not more, of government employees. 60 people out of 4.
No. I'll cite a different reference.
Yeah.
Let's say in 2010, government promulgates a different policy of surrender and rehabilitation of ex-militants. They promulgate a policy, pass that legislation in the assembly, legally and constitutionally pass that assembly, that all those elements who were part of militancy at one point of time have been rehabilitated back into the system. And once they are rehabilitated back into the system, that means they start with a clean slate. And if they start with a clean slate, then you cannot accuse them of the crime that they have committed in the past,
the point
which
is,
the government itself has pardoned.
But point is that once
the government itself has pardoned.
No, if the government has pardoned for the past actions till 2011.
Yes,
Najmu Saqib, the government has pardoned for past actions. Najmu ji, the government has pardoned.
If the government had taken a lenient view, it doesn't mean that these people they were not conniving with Pakistan.
Let them go to the court, Nirmal Singh ji. Nirmal Singh ji, let them go to the court.
The idea is
the government has evidence. Let them prove it in the court.
No. Here in this case, if these people who believe they have been, or who you believe have been unfairly sacked, let them go to the court and provide proof that there is no terror association.
Because they cannot go to Anand, that is the issue.
Okay.
They cannot go to the court.
So they cannot go to the court is what Najmu Saqib is saying. General Sanjay Kulkarni?
Anand, let's be very honest about it. We can keep on defending these people, but the fact still remains that they were conniving with the anti-nationals, and that they had enough evidence against them, and they were given lots of chances before they were thrown out, and that is why Article 311 of the Constitution.
Najmuji, let him complete, and then you can speak over. Please don't speak over each other. Let General Sanjay Kulkarni complete, and then you may please counter, please. I request you. Yes, General Sanjay Kulkarni.
Anand, all along They've been providing logistics, they've been spreading ideology, they've been providing information. They are the ones who are caught with weapons. They imagine 4 pistols being caught, they have ammunition, they have grenades, they have a whole lot of things with the people. They have been in supporting these ISI activities. They have been working as OGW, and now amongst themselves, if some of the spokesperson were to say that they were innocent people, I think nobody under the sun would want to come in. Why just these 60 people have been picked up out of 100,000 people who are the government employees? Do we not know when we operate in the valley as to what kind of people we are dealing with on a daily basis?
Right.
Now, some of these people have that ideology. I'm telling you, the teachers are one of the biggest culprits in the state of J&K. No doubt about that. The Union Territory of J&K, ever since it has become one, it has ensured that these teachers are one of those big culprits. And now you have doctors, you have lab assistants, you have constables, you have police personnel, you have all kinds of these people who are wanting to say.
Right.
Let me respond.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So General Saab mentioned about teachers. Does he remember that who was the governor when the Falayam Trust policy was used by the government? It was Governor Jagmohan who formulated a policy of rehabilitation of all Jamaat members, and that is how Falayam Trust came into being, and they were sort of adjusted in the education department. Number one. Number second, we have Governor Saab today. We have Corps Commanders, GOC 15 Corps, and we have Northern Command GOCs requesting all the parents and the young guys who have resorted to militancy and requesting them to shun the path of the violence and come to the mainstream. Now, hypothetically, let's assume they do that. They follow his suggestions, they follow his request, shun the gun, and sort of start a normal life. And then tomorrow they are adjusted into the government sector. Now, will tomorrow any government come into the in vogue and then say, no, look, you have been in past, you have been a part and parcel of a government, of militancy. Now you cannot have a new life altogether. So you either need to have a continuity of the policy. One government formulates one policy, then you hold the other government responsible and sort of turn the tables and say, no, that policy was wrong. You need to have a continuity of the policy.
My point
if
is,
you want to rehabilitate,
it's not about rehabilitation. Najmuji, the simple point is, you may have in the state, may have in the past said, all right, we're going to forget or we're going to forgive what they did in the past. But between 2011 to 2023, if they continue to act against the state, if they continue to harbor these sympathies for those entities who are inimical to Bharat, and they're compromising security and they are living off the exchequer but while working for another entity, then this period, the last 12 years, is unpardonable. Then they stand to be this one. And if there is a history and they have a rap sheet.
Let who would decide?
No, but if the administrative system has a mechanism by which they can legally invoke the clause and they can sack by the basis of the clause because they have done the due jurisprudence and due diligence at their end, they have to have that paperwork because they will also be subject to scrutiny somewhere or the other. And you can knock on the doors of the court. It's not that you cannot challenge it here. But yes, here the burden of proof lies on the sacked rather than those who actually move to sack them. So that's where the equation changes.
You cannot have presumption of the guilt. Let court decide. If there is a guilt, let government come.
But if I want to, if there is a provision in the Constitution that you can take this act, especially when it comes to the interest of the state or security, national security, then you can invoke this clause. They have invoked the clause. Then challenge the clause itself.
Our point is, okay, those might have been 5 cases, 10 cases.
Right.
You cannot for years and years and years and altogether you have hundreds of these cases where you
there aren't hundreds of these cases, sir. There aren't hundreds of these cases. As of now, they are just above 60, and there are specific cases with each one of them highlighted. Each one of them highlighted individual cases.
Of 60 people out of 4 lakh employees that are currently in the
Correct.
You cannot have.
So if they wanted to sack 4 lakh, if they wanted to sack a majority of these 4 lakh employees, they could have gone ahead and invoked this clause against all and sundry. That's not that, son. They are invoking it. They are invoking it against specifically 60. But these could be the bane of all problems. If these people are, if these people are the bane or the root cause of perhaps certain problems endemic to Jammu and Kashmir, which need to be changed, then that's the fix that's happening. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. And I appreciate Najmuji for you joining us on very short notice. Thank you very much, Dr. Nirmal Singh and Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we shift the focus to the political debate of the day, ladies and gentlemen, and it's around a crackdown on a case of alleged corruption which has been doing the rounds of the courts since 2015. There has been a certain charge and bail granted on this, and the entire National Herald case comes back into focus just around the time Rajasthan goes to polls, because properties of AJL have been attached, nearly 650 crores worth of it. Is this crackdown or intimidation? We debate when we come back. Stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Co-powered by
fingers crossed. We are hoping that we will get that very good news that we all have been waiting for the last 11 days within the next few hours itself, probably by tomorrow morning or by tomorrow afternoon. We are expecting, in fact the rescuers also expecting, that they will be able to successfully get all these people out who are stuck inside. At this point in time, the biggest update that we are bringing to our viewers is that the auger machine, which had started working late last night, has finally been able to dig through the debris, and almost 34 meters of debris has been dug through, which means that 6 pipes have already gone inside. The welding process for the 7th pipe is underway at this point in time, whereas if you talk about the entire length of the debris that is being predicted at this point in time by the rescuers is of 54 meters. So approximately 20 more meters needs to go through. The work is ongoing in full swing. I'll just try and show you in the visuals. You can see over here the work is absolutely going on in full swing. The welding process has already started. Within the next few hours, the 7th pipe will also be pushed in, which means that the length of the debris, the drilling length of the pipes would reach somewhere around the 40 meters mark. So yes, a lot of work is ongoing. The breakfast this morning has also been given to the workers. On the other hand, if you talk about the other plans, the border road organization has successfully been able to build the entire road to the vertical top from where the drilling process could start. But yes, that could still take a lot of time. But keep that aside, the biggest ray of hope, the light at the end of tunnel, is certainly getting brighter. We are hoping to get that very good news very quickly, very soon. The workers inside who are working relentlessly to make sure that this rescue operation is completed at the earliest, they are also very optimistic. Certainly a sense of happiness and a sense of positivity is something that can be sensed in the air over here, because remember the time when the auger machine broke down and the work was stopped, there was definitely a lot of gloom over here, and hence over the last 2 days the engineers over here have worked round the clock, made sure that the entire structuring inside the tunnel is done, and post that the drilling process also starts. It took almost 50 to 60 hours for them to actually prepare the entire ground, and post that this operation that has now started is going on in full swing. But still, fingers crossed, there still is no issue, but no issues that they have encountered at this point in time. But yes, the last 20 meters is something that is the most crucial. Out of this 20 meter, at least the last 10 meters is something that is the most crucial part of this operation, because remember, there could be heavy machineries that could come in the way of the pipes that are being drilled in. But yes, the analysis has been done. The electromagnetic analysis and the geophysics analysis of the debris has been done, and the rescuers are hopeful that they will be able to negate through those machines as well. So yes, the next few hours is going to be very crucial. Approximately till the 45-meter mark is where the rescuers expect that they could encounter problems. Once that 45-meter mark is crossed, then the road ahead is definitely going to be very easy for them. So yes, the next 10 meters that is going to be drilled through now, that is going to be the most crucial part of this entire operation, which means over the next 5 to 6 hours is the time when we are expecting that this entire drilling through the 10 meter of debris is going to get completed, and post that the remaining part of the debris is going to be an easy terrain is what the rescuers expect at this point in time. Now, since it is becoming more and more optimistic for the people, for the rescuers, that these people would be taken out safely and at the earliest, and that is the reason why the administration has now put on standby at least 20 ambulances, and if required, if the situation of anyone who is inside the tunnel is not good, then 40 ambulances could also be brought in. The work for that has also started. At least 20 ambulances have been put on standby at this point in time. So at least the last 9 days, in fact out of the 11 days, the last 9 days was very troublesome. There was a lot of anger amongst the family members because they did not feel that any sort of work was happening, because the work that was happening was not of the drilling but of structuring that was going on inside the tunnel, and that was something very, very scientific and technical, and definitely the kind of emotions that these people had, you can't blame them for not understanding that. But since the first visuals have come to the fore, a strong communication line has been established, these people are being allowed to speak to their family members who are stuck inside. The confidence has definitely increased, and as I told you, there is a sense of optimism now that within the next few hours all of them would be taken out safely, and we can expect that and that is what the family members also expect at this point in time. Their body language has definitely changed over the last 24 hours, I should say, and definitely the kind of progress that has been made at this point in time is something that should be cherished. But yes, fingers crossed, we are still hoping that the next 10 meters that needs to be drilled through, that can be done with all safety and at the earliest. Post that, the good news is not such.
Back on, ladies and gentlemen, and ahead of the 2024 battle and amid ongoing assembly polls, trouble mounts for the Congress party as the Enforcement Directorate has widened its probe in the entire National Herald case. The ED has attached 751.9 crore worth of assets in a money laundering investigation involving the National Herald newspaper owned by the Congress-affiliated Young India Limited. The central agency has stated that the probe revealed that Associated Journals Limited, AJL's possession of the proceeds of crime in the form of immovable properties. The ED also stated that a young Indian is in possession of proceeds of crime worth 90.21 crore. The ED has attached 3 properties: AJL House in Mumbai, National Herald House in Delhi, and Nehru Bhavan in Uttar Pradesh's Lucknow. In response, Congress has criticized the ED's actions as petty vendetta tactics and accused the ED of being a coalition partner of the BJP. The party claimed that the BJP is utilizing agencies like the Enforcement Directorate for political purposes, anticipating defeat in the upcoming assembly polls. Meanwhile, the BJP hitting back at the Gandhis looting Indians and saying that they think freedom fighters' properties are their own, but they are not. Let's go straight across to our guests and hit the debate. Ladies and gentlemen, Tuin Sinha, national spokesperson of the BJP with us, L. Hanumantaiah, Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress party with us, and AP Singh, former deputy legal advisor to the ED. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for joining us. AP Singh ji, let me start with you and ask you, is the ED a coalition partner of the ruling disposition?
Hi. Yeah, good evening to all of you. First of all, I would like to make little correction. I am AC Singh, Ashish Chandra Singh.
My apologies, sir.
AC Singh.
I stand corrected. Ashish ji, sorry.
All right.
Go ahead, please.
So, yeah, actually, you know, so far as Prevention of Money Laundering Act is concerned, this money laundering offence is a secondary offence. Primary offence is a scheduled offence which is investigated or in respect of which a criminal complaint had been filed before the magistrate who had taken the cognizance. So one cannot say that any action is in retaliation or against anyone.
Right.
And secondly, number 2, this provisional attachment order is incidental to investigation carried out under PMLA. Actually, under section 5(1), this provisional attachment order is passed. It is passed for a period of 180 days, provided it is confirmed by adjudicating authority, where the aggrieved person will have a right, or his counsel shall have a right, to argue the case. So this is as per scheme propounded under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So one cannot blame that agencies are doing anything wrong, because the investigation had been carried out since long in this case. So as and when the investigation is complete, they come across, they find out that a prima facie case is made out, they have reason to believe that the properties are proceeds of crime, then only they take action in accordance with section 5(1), and that action has been taken by Enforcement Directorate.
So, but Ashish Singh ji is explaining it beautifully, Mr. L. Hanumantayya. Why is the Congress saying and making all these accusations against the ED? Why is it saying that this is all petty vendetta tactics?
No, there is a case in ED. You have to observe all the cases which has been booked by ED in all the states with regard to the political leaders. For a moment you leave the case of this. I wanted to explain you. See, the ED which has booked, which has confiscated the properties of the opposition party leaders across the country amounts to 98%. And the ruling party MPs, whoever there in the case, as their property is not been confiscated and cases and FIRs are not booked on them. See, now come down to Herald case. Herald case, the legal luminaries of the country have explained and said there is no case in this and there is no money laundering in this. Still, the case is before the court. But the ED confiscated the properties which are inherited by even before independence. Nehru Bhavan in Lucknow was from many years and there was no money laundering at all. Still, they have confiscated the property. Is it not a head politics and the politics of vengeance? And you take the cases of ED. Any MP or any important person, any opposition leader has been taken into custody, inquire them. After they join BJP, they will become clean and nobody knows what happened to their cases. I can give you a lot of examples on this. When such is the track record of ED, what they are doing today, what they are doing on Sonia ji, Rahul ji, they are the shareholders of that group, which the paper has been started by Nehru, not today. And how can you confiscate the property which has been owned by this trust? This is a separate entity. And anybody who have given donation, is it banned? Giving donation to a particular trust or society, has it been banned as per our laws? And how the ED can say that it is wrong? We will not.
Sir,
they have questioned
sir, if all of us,
DK Shivkumar, he has just donated.
Sir, if all of us could make, Hanumantayya ji, if you, me, all of us could make
sir,
such donations,
please tell me,
and could get properties for making such donations which are more than 10x of the actual donation, please let us all go ahead and make such donations. But Tuhin Sinha, how would you want to respond?
No,
that the action is taken around election time,
no,
it is taken only against opposition.
No, I'll come back to you.
Hanumantayya ji, please yield.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Please yield. Let Tuhin Sinha please, and then you can respond. Yes, Tuhin Sinha. You're targeting only the opposition.
Well, namaste, Anand.
Namaste.
Namaste, Anand. Prima facie, it seems that the National Herald case is a classic manifestation of the Gandhi family's rare abilities at financial fraud, deception and potential money laundering. You know, 90 crore rupees being given as a loan by a political party to AJL. Number one, is it legally permissible? Number two, was it money laundered or was it, was it just book entry? So there are several questions which border upon complete fraud. Number one, it is criminal breach of trust towards 1,000 shareholders who were ex-freedom fighters, and who were given, shareholding because of their contribution to India's freedom movement. Overnight, by virtue of, the inception of this shady company called Young India Limited, whose charitable purposes or whose charitable activities we still don't know till now. Overnight, the 1,000 shareholders are reduced to 1% of shareholding, and Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, who own 76% of that company, acquire or usurp AJL by default by a meager payment of 76 lakhs. So it is a huge financial fraud that involves potential money laundering, and the proceeds of the crime over here is the usurping of properties worth 2,000 crore. So if the proceeds of the crime are partially taken back by the ED is within its rights to do that. What is the problem with that? I think the Gandhi family has a lot to answer over here. The sense of entitlement they come with, I think it is the Congress workers who should be questioning them, rather the Congress seems to be supporting this act of personal aggrandizement.
2015, Mr. Hanumanthaiah, this is what the Delhi High Court says. Modus operandi adopted by petitioners evidences criminal intent. And I'm quoting the court, not me, okay? It's not my court. There is a clear case to summon petitioners as accused. Questionable conduct of petitioners needs to be properly examined. The same Delhi High Court 3 years later, AJL asked to vacate Herald House in 2 weeks. Questionable takeover of AJL by Young Indian. Dominant purpose for lease to AJL practically lost. Allegations of malafide are preposterous. Failed to understand how ruling dispensation defamed Nehru. These are the courts, sir. Delhi High Court has said this.
No, I wanted to, I just clarify this. The law of the land has not given the final judgment on the case. Case is in, there is a Supreme Court. Supreme Court has to spell out, yes, there is a fraud. Then whatever you are telling, I can agree.
So that means the Delhi High Court's verdict does not stand.
The case is not yet over.
The Delhi High Court's verdict, its
No,
observations doesn't stand. The Delhi High Court's upholding the charges against and then granting bail to the accused.
There can be observations.
Does not work.
You
know, they upheld the charges and then granted bail, sir.
Lower courts have convicted. Lower courts have convicted, but the Supreme Court has released. Supreme Court has given the relief in many cases in this country.
Correct.
So, why are you taking immediately the High Court
No, but till the time the Supreme Court decides,
going to be the decisions.
Till the time the Supreme Court decides, we have to go by the High Court judgment.
Wait for the decision of the Supreme Court.
Till the time the Supreme Court decides,
So, why can't you wait for the Supreme Court decision?
Mr. Hanumanthaiah, has the Supreme Court stayed the High Court's judgment? Has the Supreme Court stayed the High Court judgment? Has the Supreme Court said that till the time the proceedings are going on and we are hearing of the proceedings, the High Court judgment does not stand? It's not said anything like that. Till the time the matter is not decided by the top court, the Delhi High Court judgment stands. No,
please wait for that.
And I'm going to request Ashish Singh ji to please respond to the tone that you have used against the ED and the allegations that you have made against the ED, Mr. Hanumanthaiah. I will request Mr. Ashish Singh to respond to that. Ashish ji.
Yeah. First and foremost, I would like to point out that so far as these proceedings are concerned, attachment proceedings, they are quasi-criminal in nature. And once the proceedings have taken place, then the opposite side will have ample opportunity to appear and argue the case. Number two, as Mr. Hanumanthaiah was alleging, that only why at this juncture such action has been taken. With regard to that, I would like to point out that the proceedings under PMLA Act, they are time-bound proceedings. They are not like that for years together it goes on. Because once attachment order has been passed by virtue of section 83A of PMLA, within 365 days the ED has to file the prosecution complaint before a special court. Otherwise, the entire attachment shall lapse. It shall die its own death. So, my submission is, my view is that they have taken, when they have completed the investigation qua those properties and they came across that these properties are proceeds of crime, they took action. Now ball is in their court because as per scheme propounded under PMLA, within 30 days from the date of attachment order, ED is required to file OC. It is called original complaint before adjudicating authority constituted under section 6 of the PMLA. And thereafter, the party will get an opportunity to file their reply. Thereafter, the adjudicating authority shall invite them to argue. ED counsel will remain there and opposite side aggrieved person counsel will be there. And after being satisfied, the adjudicating authority may confirm or may not confirm. If any action has been taken which is not in accordance with law, the adjudicating authority is a quasi-judicial body. It is distinct and different from Enforcement Directorate. So this is altogether untenable by alleging all these things. Instead, they should approach to the court, they should approach with clean hands before the court of law and seek remedy as per their advice.
Mr. Hanumantaya and then Tuhin Sinha.
Yes, we are doing it. We are doing it. Our legal team is on the job. We are doing it. We are hoping that we are going to get the justice in the higher court. And ED, I am just talking the track record of ED, what they are doing. And I don't know, many a times the courts have questioned ED's actions in many cases. Likewise, this case also, they will be questioned and we will get the remedy in the higher court. I am hopeful there is no fraud in this case. It is only an allegation. It is an allegation just because the Gandhi family is involved in that, just because the Congress party is doing in this, is a part of this case. So I am very, very clearly telling you, this case, the Congress party will win.
So, okay, the Congress party will win.
The case. There is no doubt about
the Congress party will win. So then we should use this Congress model of acquiring and running newspapers and acquiring properties.
You know, Anand, it is very sad.
That will be questioned by the court and when they
justify.
No, I must.
No, Mr. Hanumantaya, you cannot cannibalize other stock.
Have some manners.
I said, Mr. Tuhin Sinha, yield. Then I'll come back to you, sir. Please, I request you.
You know, Anand, it is very sad to see the average Congress worker justify this, this encroachment or this acquiring, this illegal acquiring of public property by a family through an act of conspiracy. Mind you, the entire process of the formation of Young India Limited, which remains a shady organization 8 years after its inception, was a conspiracy to acquire public property, which was a legacy of freedom fighters by a family. So I think, this kind of a criminal act, if it is condoned by the average Congress worker, that shows what the Congress party has come to. It is very shameful that they themselves should be standing up against it and against the family which did it.
Correct. If it is so glaring and if it is so open and shut that someone like a Dr. Subramanian Swamy could argue this court case in the Delhi High Court and get the kind of observations from the Delhi High Court in 2015, then Tuhin Sinha, my question to you is, sir, 2015 to 2023, 8 saal ho gaye, sir, 2 terms are over. Of the government.
Anand, if you ask me,
so there is something called super slow-mo in cricket, but this beats even super slow-mo by 100 super slow-mos.
I agree with you. People like Hemant Soren, Lalu Yadav and Rahul Gandhi should have been in jail by now. So I'm equally surprised why it has taken so much time, but this shows that, we don't have much control over the working of the ED. They have their own processes, they have their own, backlogs to clear. But yes, I mean, all of these three cases involving the land for jobs, the land for jobs scam, the Jharkhand mining case and this case are so direct that sooner than later the culprit should land in jail.
This is the classic dhol, Ashish Singh ji. Opposition says government is controlling you. Government says we have no control about ED. We can't answer for why it has taken such a long time. So ये तो ढोल की दोनों तरफ से ED को ही बज रहा है.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
No, there, Ashish ji.
Yeah, I would like to point out that so far as these investigations are under PMLA are concerned, these investigations are very cumbersome. Because of this thing, so many bulk of documents are to be examined, each and every page has to be read, then only, because these are financial crimes. And Supreme Court has time and again said that conventional crimes are not so heinous in comparison to these financial crimes, because they are committed with cool and calculated mind.
Right.
So therefore, it is but natural that proper investigation is done. It is to be done
It takes
in
time.
accordance
It
with
takes
law.
time. It takes time.
Otherwise-
Ashish ji, I have run out of time, so I have
Yeah,
to
it takes
respectfully